Her wedding was perfect as well. It was a kind of overly elaborate, extravagant, gaudy, grandiose affair women turn into Godzilla trying to achieve. In fact, that wedding disgusts me so much, I have to read you a few sections out of Breaking Dawn just to illustrate. I apologize in advance for this, I really do. This is from the chapter entitled Big Day. Well, I said as we turned into the drive, I see you got to reuse your graduation decorations. 3 miles of drive were once again wrapped in hundreds and thousands of twinkle lights. This time she'd added white satin bows. Already, that's not a good sign. What is that? I wondered as she guided me into the house. Is it too much? Alice's voice was abruptly worried. You're the first human in here. I hope I got it right. It smells wonderful, I assured her. Almost intoxicating, but not at all overwhelming. The balance of the different fragrances was subtle and flawless. Orange blossoms, lilac, and something else, am I right? Very good, Bella. You only missed the freesia and the roses. Not at all overwhelming my ass. Sounds like tacky potpourri. Her guest should be suffering from horrendous allergy attacks. Yet there isn't a single mention of a sneeze in the text, not even for comedy relief. Now, I'm the kind of person who wants to get married at a courthouse. Extravagant weddings make me want to hurl. So needless to say, this whole chapter made me quite nauseous. Listen to this. The music was louder in the hall. It floated up the stairs along with the fragrance of a million flowers. I concentrated on the idea of Edward waiting below to get my feet to shuffle forward. The music was familiar, Wagner's traditional march, surrounded by a flood of embellishments. Snip. As soon as my feet were past the treacherous stairs, I was looking for him. For a brief second, I was distracted by the profusion of white blossoms that hung in garlands from everything in the room that wasn't alive, dripping with long lines of white gossamer ribbons. I tore my eyes from the Bowery canopy and searched across the rows of satin-draped chairs, blushing more deeply as I took the crowd of faces all focused on me, until I found him at last, standing before an arch overflowing with more flowers, more gossamer. Gag me. It burns. But to those who like that sort of thing, I'm sure it must be like heaven. Again, the flowers weren't overwhelming my ass. They're everywhere. Her wedding is so wonderful, even her clumsiness doesn't get in the way of it. But you can bet that Bella complains about it. It's my turn, Alice chimed. Count to 5 and follow me. She began a slow, graceful dance down the staircase. I should have realized that having Alice as my only bridesmaid was a mistake. I would look that much more uncoordinated coming behind her. Snip. Don't let me fall, Dad, I whispered. Charlie pulled my hand through his arm and grasped it tightly. One step at a time, I told myself, as we began to descend to the slow tempo of the march. I didn't lift my eyes until my feet were safely flat on the ground, so I could hear the murmurs and rustling of the audience as I came into view. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't stop. From the next chapter, Gesture. All the standard traditions were kept. I was blinded by the flash bulbs as we held the knife over the spectacular cake. Too grand, I thought, for a relatively intimate group of friends and family. We took turns shoving cake in each other's faces. Edward manfully swallowed his portion as I watched in disbelief. I threw my bouquet with atypical skill right into Angela's surprised hands. Snip. And when the music started, Edward pulled me into his arms for the customary first dance. I went willingly, despite my fear of dancing, especially dancing in front of an audience, just happy to have him holding me. He did all the work, and I twirled effortlessly under the glow of the canopy of lights and the bright flashes from the cameras. But wait, where's Bella's one flaw? You mean even that is absent? First she didn't trip on the stairs, and now this? I feel cheated. Oh, and she's really plain, too. Remember that? Have you had a chance to look at yourself? This is Edward speaking. No, I guess not. Why? Then I suppose you don't realize how utterly, heartbreakingly beautiful you are tonight. I'm not surprised Mike's having difficulty with improper thoughts about a married woman. I am disappointed that Alice didn't make sure you were forced to look in a mirror. You're very biased, you know. He sighed and then paused and turned me around to face the house. The wall of glass reflected the party back like a long mirror. Edward pointed to the couple in the mirror directly across from us. Biased, am I? I caught a glimpse, or just a glimpse of Edward's reflection, a perfect duplicate of his perfect face, with a dark-haired beauty at his side. Her skin was cream and roses. Her eyes were huge with excitement and framed with thick lashes. The narrow sheath of the shimmering white dress flared out subtly at the train, almost like an inverted calla lily, cut so skillfully that her body looked elegant and graceful, while it was motionless at least. Excuse me while I call up a clip from a previous video. Excuse me, guys. This passage inspires me. In fact, I believe I feel a song coming on. You're so vain. You probably think the song is about you. You're so vain. You probably think the song is about you. Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? Seriously. The worst part is that she didn't have to lift a finger to plan any of it. Alice did all the work for her. She doesn't have to worry about decorations or catering, which napkins go best with the floral arrangements, what dress to wear, or any of that stuff. Heaven forbid Bella actually have to put an effort out for anything.